Hello, beautiful people. Hope you all are well. Got some hot off the presses news from the Valley. No, I got to talk in code because I'm talking about those people, um, the evil ones. Anywho, this is a very interesting story. It's very important. It's tied to biblical prophecy, and this is why I am sharing it. It's a data point, and it is further demonstrating how all these religions are coming together to give their power to the beast. This is how it's happening. So this is why, if regardless of which religion or denomination, if you're a Christian, you're a part of, it's very important you pay attention to what is happening, because most churches are not talking about this stuff. They're not talking about how end time prophecy is unfolding. They're still giving the same old messages that they've been given for decades. And faith leaders have come together with the Pope to form this alliance, and it's going to be tied to climate change, and all this stuff is going to be tied to worship or a day of rest. So you're able to see how the eco Sabbath is coming to fruition. We don't have long to witness this happen. Once it happens, you can just expect things to go downhill from there. And I anticipate a lot of persecution. I already see where the Pope has been calling out American Catholics and American churches for a variety of reasons. So it just seems like there's like this beef now with us. And there's got to be a beef because you got to topple America so that you can control the world. Because right now, America controls the globe. We control the economic system, we control the culture. Uh, our brand of Christianity pretty much runs the world. It's the ever so quickly declining Protestantism. Um, just all the things that they need out of the way in order to institute this new global order that they've created and is sitting on the back burner waiting to be implemented. They can't do that until they destabilize, disrupt, destroy Babylon, Mystery Babylon. And so that's the Gentile nations, the white nations, Europe, Canada, and America. America being the top of that. And I say England, UK. So wherever white people are, they got to go down because they are the problem, or will be the problem, or the obstacle to this new global order. And so they've decided to use religion because religion really isn't just another form of governance, or well, that's what it is. It's just another form of governance. It governs in a different way, but now you're seeing where government and religion, these two different structures, have come together to achieve this play climate stuff that they keep talking about. So in order to not get in trouble, I'm gonna move on. So global faith leaders call for urgent action on climate change. So it says representatives, I guess, of the world's religions have signed an appeal. They signed an appeal calling for political leaders at next month's COP28 climate summit to take meaningful action to respond to the urgent crisis of climate change. So here you go. Church and state have merged. Politics and religion have merged, and the Pope is leading the way, along with this grand imam. So it says Professor Muhammad Al Duini, the representative of the Grand Imam of Al Azhar, and Cardinal Pietro Parolin, representing Pope Francis, headed a delegation of almost 30 faith leaders who signed an appeal to COP28 delegates to take decisive action to combat climate change. Jewish, Buddhist, Sikh, and Hindu leaders, along with representatives of other major religious traditions, joined in the appeal, which included calls for the acceleration of energy transitions. That means y'all gonna get off fossil fuels. Y'all gonna be walking, gonna be riding these new clean energy on these new clean energy buses. You're gonna be riding bikes. You're gonna be driving electric vehicles. It's coming faster than you think. Protections of the earth and the transition to circular models of living in harmony with nature and the rapid adoption of clean energy. That means your 15-minute cities, your digital lives, and eating soil and green. The appeal also included a commitment to supporting the first of its kind faith pavilion at COP28 and convening at future COP conventions. So you can see that the um, Muslim faith and the Catholic faith have merged, and they're going to be playing a key role at these future climate meetings. Just like you saw that the Catholic Church, the Pope has a permanent seat at the UN now. So it's hit like that's going to be controlling everything. Like he's there. So you can see his handprint in everything. That church's handprint is in everything from war to religion to climate to health. You look at the WHO, the economic systems, education, children, hunger, uh, you name it. So he's everywhere in everything. You see it. I've been trying to point it out to you so that you can see there is no place that he's not been this past year. Very loud, very vocal, and now actually making political decisions. So if you can't see the writing on the wall, I don't know what to say for you. The signing ceremony took place in Abu Dhabi at the conclusion of the first day of the Global Faith Leaders Summit on Climate Change. Each of the leaders walked a path representing the equator and participated in the planting of a GAF, a GHAF, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, tree, the national tree of the UAE, before signing the document. So, like, they doing these rituals and all this stuff. Is insane. Like, I don't understand how all these different Bible believing religions even participate in this stuff. I just don't understand it. And it's so scary that most people who align themselves with these different denominations of Christianity, and I don't consider myself a Christian. I just consider myself a believer of Yah's way. I believe in the Torah. I understand who we are. I understand the history and the nature of how things have been changed. But I do understand that there are a lot of people who don't know the truth yet, and they don't want to know the truth, because even when you try to tell them who we are the true people, they either dismiss it or they just like they don't believe it. So it's very hard to wake people up. And as far as Gentiles and white people, they know the truth, but they don't care because they don't want to deal with the judgment that comes along with all the stuff that their ancestors and that they've done as well. including denying who we are, even though the importance of who we are is stressed throughout the entire Bible or Torah. So it's just insane right now what we are witnessing. So this is a powerful statement. At the conclusion of the ceremony, the appeal was delivered to Dr. Sultan Al Jabbar, the president designate of COP28. Dr. Al Jabbar highlighted the special significance of the Abu Dhabi Interfaith Statement for COP28. Your collective faiths continue to inspire all people to live in harmony with nature and to act to protect our fragile world. And together, you have made a powerful statement of intent that the world needs to live, a statement of urgency, a statement of unity, solidarity, responsibility, and hope that can only help the collective drive for transformation and climate change. There is no talk about the Most High, who the Creator is, who created this earth that they've destroyed. Don't talk about Him. Not praying to the Most High, who created this stuff so that He can heal it. Not asking for forgiveness for our sins that help make this mess and that has brought judgment upon the land, in particular Babylon. Nothing. Just we got to do stuff ourselves. We are basically, they're telling us that we are God. They are God and we are God, and we have the power to fix this. The only thing we should do is whatever they tell us to do, and that'll make things better. Not get on our knees and repent, not turn from our wicked ways, not turning back from being greedy and selfish and all the things that we've done directly, indirectly, intentionally, knowingly, or unknowingly. Our sinful ways got us here. And now we're being judged. And instead of them talking about judgment, talking about, you know, the laws of reaping and sowing and all the things that they should be talking about, there's nothing. They're trying to do this general, generic messaging to get everybody on board for this global enslavement that's coming. And most people are walking right into it because they have conditioned us to think about equality and equity and discount the Bible. I don't think that, reinterpreting what the word says and, basically ignoring uh, the Most High. Like He's nowhere in this. And it's easy to see now how people are going to be deceived. I used to always wonder, how would people be deceived in the last days? And I see it now. I didn't think that I would be able to see it. I always wondered, will I be able to be fooled? And maybe the Most High was like, no, child, since you were smart enough to ask this question, I'm going to give you some seeds at the last minute in the final days so that you will not be deceived. But in any event, I am so thankful that I can see what's coming because this is crazy. So it says Dr. Al Jabbar encouraged the faith leaders to continue to mobilize their communities around the world while promising on his part to carry a message forward to the world through COP28. So these people gonna come home and their stuff gonna trickle down to your local churches and your local community. So this is when we have to watch out for it. We have to watch out and listen and for the deception and the delusions and make sure we avoid them. United for Change, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism. I don't know what that is. I guess that's supposed to be Judaism. I don't know. And a host of other religious traditions, large and small, were represented at the Global Faith Summit with 36 speakers highlighting a shared commitment to caring for creation. How you care for creation when it's very specific in the book of Genesis how this earth was created. It was told to us who created it And so anything else they're talking about outside of that in concert with any of these other religions is a no-no. So this is why you can't be believing what these folks say. You got to really think critically and use your common sense. And it's not that I'm saying I don't want nobody to say that I'm a denier of something. I'm just telling you, if you read the word and then you read what they're saying, you the two, oil and water, can't mix. Iron and clay ain't finna mix. Night and day don't go together. Um, it's not gonna work. And so this is not going to work, but it's gonna work for a season, because what's got to happen, it's got to happen. Biblical prophecy has already been written, and what's going to come to pass is going to come to pass. This is the great deception happening right before our eyes. So I'm just thankful that we can see it. So it says among the participants were representatives of Pope Francis, Grand Imam Ahmed al-Tayyib, the ecumenical patriarch of Constantinople and the patriarch of Moscow, and the Archbishop of Canterbury. So as you can see, all these different nations and regions of the world are participating in this. So this is why you can't be on the side of nothing. You got to be on the side of the Most High, and you got to mind black business. And that's why I have the stance that I have, and I'm sticking to it. Our politicians are corrupt, from your local government all the way up to the national government. These leaders of these corporations, they're corrupt. These leaders of these health organizations, corrupt. These national or international organizations responsible for orchestrating wars and peace, all corrupt. And so, um, the economic system, corrupt. Communications, corrupt. There's nothing that we don't have any institutions that we can trust anymore. So we have to rely on each other. We got to rely on our word, and our word will guide us. Hopefully, people will have spirits together enough that we can use our discernment and know who has the right spirit and who's leading who the right way, so that we can connect, however, spiritually, because this is a spiritual battle that we getting ready, that we're fighting now, but it's all spiritual. And if you are not spiritually aware, you don't have spiritual eyes to see, and in the spirit to read other spirits and know when something is right and good and not right and bad, you're going to be caught up in some stuff before you know it. So it says they emphasize that all religious traditions recognize the relationship between divinity and creation. Common themes emerged. How is something common? So you see, but do you see what's happening? They're telling you that we have these common things. And this stems from over the last 50 years. We got feminism, we got equity, we got alphabet rights, we got all these different things that now everybody's equal, and equal means we're common, we're the same. You can roll common good. And when they start talking about common good, that's tied to the sustainable development goals, the WEF, the eco Sabbath. All of it is tied together. So you're starting to see these themes where they're always talking about common. So it says they emphasize that all religious traditions recognize the relationship between divinity and creation. Common themes emerged, including the moral duty of stewardship or caring for God's creation. Which God is we talking about? Because it's a whole bunch of different faiths, and they don't all have the same God. They don't believe the same thing. They don't believe the same thing. So what God's creation are they talking about? The need to work together to combat climate change. We can't combat judgment. We get judgment from being terrible people and disobedient. You combat that by being good people and praying and repenting. So how you going to combat climate change if climate change is judgment, which they never talk about? And the recognition of the urgency of the climate change crisis and the need to take decisive action to meet climate goals. So they have goals because they're playing God. And the action they need to take are actions that they're trying to implement because they're playing God. And the punishment is just, we're going to disregard the punishment for playing God and just act like people don't know that we are under judgment and biblical prophecy is unfolding right before our eyes. None of that. You never hear any of that. Participants pointed to greed and self-centeredness as root causes of the environmental crisis. No, it's disobedience. Disobedience and sin. Greed and self-centeredness are sins. It's not those things and something else. It's sin. But they don't talk about sin. They talk about it, but they don't call it what it is. And called, especially for wealthier nations, the biggest sinners, because they done robbed, pillaged, stole, killed, done the edges of everything just to be wealthy. Enslaved folks and worked them for nothing and kept the money. Didn't do recompense as they should have. Didn't give people their lands back that they took, their resources that they hoard. Sin, stealing, killing, enslaving, not paying your workers fair wages. Sin, which bear greater responsibility for climate change, take more to make efforts to help poorer countries that are disproportionately affected by the crisis. Give them people their stuff back, but they're not going to do that. Climate change, they said, is the gravest issue of our time and requires urgent action to prevent catastrophe. Only action that's going to stop climate change is get down on your knees and pray and repent for your sins and obey those laws, statutes, and commandments and keep the Sabbath. Move away from the Sabbath that the Pope came up with or Rome came up with, and go back to the one that the Most High gave us, where we supposed to be looking at the moon to see when the Sabbath is, not days of the week that he never gave us. He didn't give us names of days and tell us to worship on Sunday or Saturday. He said worship on the rest on the seventh day, and that's the day that we are supposed to honor him. But we don't do that because Rome changed it. And so here they are telling us to do something else that we ain't supposed to be doing. So we're continually being disobedient and sinful. And that's just all that they that's all they teach you to do. Be disrespectful, disobedient, break the most high's laws, statutes, and commandments. And then we wonder why we catching hell and having so many problems. We are disobedient and we remain disobedient. As long as we're in Babylon, we are stuck here and ignorant. We're going to remain a problem. Raising awareness. So it says recognizing that more than 80% of the total global population professes some religious belief. Summit participants emphasized that the important responsibilities incumbent on religious leaders to raise awareness on climate issues in their communities. So that means your churches are going to be talking to you more about climate change because that's going to be directed from Rome. So when you start going to church, if you go to church, if you're a Christian, or even if you start seeing faith leaders in your communities start talking more about climate, you will understand why. But it should also be a sign for you. You better run from them people because they are going to be judged. They too called for greater efforts to mobilize believers to take concrete actions to combat climate change, like as if we ain't been doing nothing. You know how long I've been throwing the recycling plastic bags and cans and bottles and this and that, and we still ain't doing enough. Um, we already dealing with shrinkflation, paying more for the same, for smaller packages of stuff that we consume. Um, you just name it. Like we've already been going without and doing stuff for decades, and we still ain't doing enough. But the corporations don't have any responsibility, and they get away with everything. Even if they get charged a fine or whatever, they just pay it and they just find another way to screw us, to cheat us out our wages, don't give us raises so that they can make up for the losses that they incur from not following rules. So it's just a bunch of BS. Ain't nothing gonna change this judgment, and we just need to be prepared for judgment because that's what we're living in. Um, Pray that we are found worthy to escape, and pray that we can endure to the end, including the persecution that will come with resisting tyranny, both through individual commitment and to sound environmental practices, and through concerted efforts to advocate for concrete actions from world leaders to address the climate crisis. So, this is the end of this article. It came out 2 days ago on November the 6th, 2023. I will put a link to it in the description so that you can read it for yourself. Um, I'm going to show you this video. Mhm. All right. So, one thing I notice about all this stuff, in which I often wonder if they know something that we don't know. Like if we're gonna be gone, and when I say we, I mean true Israel, the uh, African American and Black Israelites scattered throughout the nations. Like we ain't hardly involved in any of this stuff. So do they know there's going to be a supernatural exodus and we're not going to be a part of this, so we won't experience this? Are they planning on getting rid of as many of us as they can? And so they figure we probably will not go along with it because just whatever that thing in us that the Most High put in us makes us naturally resist and not go along with them? Or is it because they all are in collusion and they hate us? And so it's their nature to get together, Esau, Edom, Ishmael. It is their nature to get together and plan these types of things because they are so much alike and because we are so different, and resistant, that um, we don't have a seat at the table because we just know it's a bunch of BS. Like I don't know, I just always wonder that even in the movies, you always see in the movies is a whole bunch of them and not that many of us. It's psychologically, used to be like, oh, we don't never be in the movies. Oh, it's always one and they kill us. Or, we're always the knowledgeable one in the movie who knows what's going on and saving all of the children of the corn. Like, I don't know if you ever think about stuff like that psychologically, but I always wonder, like, how is it that we are never there? We don't have a seat at the table. We don't participate. They don't invite us. And the ones that are there, they're like raccoons. Um, so you expect the raccoons to be there, but the majority of us, we're never invited. We don't have a seat at the table. There's a reason for that. I don't know what the reason is. I don't know what their rationale is, but psychologically, they know something that we don't know. They know something that we don't know. There's something about us that is different, resistant, rebellious, righteous. Even though we sin, even though we're disobedient, even though we do a lot of things, we're misled, a lot of times easily deceived and delusional. There's still something pure and righteous about us that these other groups don't have. And I don't think our spirits can stand each other. And I think because they know, all these nations in the world know who we are, they just don't want to be around us, because it's also kind of convicting, I think, in a sense, because you have to admit, you know, you too are going to be judged because of how you've treated us. So I don't know. I just think about that when I see these pictures and these videos of these different organizations, leaders, whatever, at these meetings, and the room is everybody but the Negro, everybody but the scattered children of Israel. It's just it's telling. It's telling, but it also reaffirms for me that the Bible is true and that we are the people of the book, and that judgment is coming, and there will be no mercy for those who have harmed us. People who have done us dirty, they're going to get their just desserts. And we just have to stay prayed up, keep the faith, not get weak, try to endure to the end, and pray to be found worthy to escape what's coming to those nations that have harmed us and who are trying to enslave people that the Most High made to be free. Um, we're living in some wild times, but thankfully, those of us that are here are awakened. We can see, and we are fortunate enough to be able to try to navigate these times so that we don't get caught up in the strong delusions. So y'all keep watch. They talking, they're doing their thing. They are living the book of Revelation. Right now, we are witnessing the churches and the nations get in line and do what the prophecy says that they are going to do during the end times. So don't get caught up in the strong delusions. Try not to be deceived. Keep your eyes open. Keep watch, because these people are planning on accelerating their agenda, and we need to be prepared for persecution. You have to be prepared for persecution, and you have to be prepared to resist. And that is why I continue to drill home prepping. Prep, 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 because you can't resist nothing if you are not ready to go without some things. And when I talk about persecution, it could be you can't go to the grocery store, you can't leave home, you can't work, you can't go to the bank and get money, you can't participate in society, and you may be persecuted by your neighbors or your family or whatever, because uh, they're pressured to persecute those who don't go along with the plan. And just like with the lollipop, you'll see that when folks get threatened with their livelihoods, their jobs, money, they're gonna do whatever they got to do, because they just know they're slaves and they gotta have money or resources to make their ends meet, and they'll go along quickly. A lot of people resisted, but more people than not, didn't resist. And so when the next thing comes and they're going to be forced to participate in it, and when they talk about this Sabbath, they're changing Sunday to Sabbath, and Sabbath is not Sunday. People are going to do that. People going to think that's a good thing. Oh yeah, we're going to stay home. We're going to rest. We're not going to do nothing. We're not going to work. We're not going to shop. We're not going to. It's coming. We just got to be ready. And you cannot resist if you have not prepared for persecution, um, period. So keep prepping, keep praying, keep watch. Obey those laws, statutes, and commandments, and keep that Sabbath. That's going to be so important. This is why keeping Sabbath, learning about Sabbath, and keeping Sabbath, learning about the moons. We have to learn while we can, because once infrastructure goes down, communications goes down, um, education materials that are available now go down, you're not going to have nothing to help you. You're going to be on your own. And you're not going to be able to trust. Can't hardly trust what you see now, but you really won't be able to trust what is out there when the infrastructure comes back up, when the power comes back on, when the internet comes back on. It'll be a whole new world. And so whatever you don't know, after that happens, you just will not know. So spend this time learning and prepping. Prep your mind, prep your spirit, prep physically, prep. Now, I hate to say financially because we shouldn't rely on money like that, but we need money and we need resources to get the things that we need in order to survive. And again, prepare for primitive living and discomfort, because we're going to experience a lot of discomfort for resisting. But this is what we're supposed to do. Either going to be marked with the mark of this beast system, or you're going to be sealed with the wisdom and knowledge and spirit of the Most High. It's that simple. So, with that said, please like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Please share this information with other believers who may be walking in darkness and unaware of what's coming. Um, Follow me on Rumble and Odyssey. In the event that this channel is taken down, I will post there. Odyssey backs up all of my content from YouTube. So if they just get rid of the channel, you can follow me on Odyssey. I'm on social media, Instagram and Facebook. Follow me there. In the event that something happens, I will send a shout out or white flag to let you know where I am and where I'll be posting. Lastly, if you'd like to support the channel, links are in the description. I appreciate any support that you give me. We, all of us who are working, trying to share this wisdom and knowledge that we get during the end times, and just keeping watch. We don't get paid for this. It's not a job. It's what we're supposed to do. But if you benefit from it, consider sharing, because a lot of times we don't get the opportunity to be monetized. We don't get the views because our content is suppressed. We don't get the followers because we ain't talking about garbage or trash or gossip or whatever current events that the evil communications drive that our people tend to navigate towards. So we don't get the opportunities like a lot of other channels. And especially when you're talking about Black empowerment. Black empowerment is like kryptonite to white supremacy. So it's very challenging trying to break through. And I'm not really trying to break through for that purpose anyway. I'm just trying to tell the truth, live the truth, and hope to be found worthy to escape whenever it's time to leave Babylon. I want to make it, and I'm trying to endure to the end. And I know, works. We are not going to, get us any place. But while we are here, we are called to do work, to awaken our brothers and sisters, and to do right and try to obey those law, statutes, and commandments so that we can be found worthy to escape what's coming. So, y'all, keep prepping, keep praying, keep seeking the Most High, obey those law, statutes, and commandments, and learn about the true Sabbath and try to honor it, try to keep it, because that alone, those things alone will help you avoid taking the mark and following that broad path that will lead many to the mark. And that's not what you want for your life, your next life. I don't want that. So, love y'all. Take care. Links are in the description for this article, and I'm out.